Welcome back to my Serial Experiments Lain analysis.
Present time.
A video series where I try to break down Lain to make it make sense. In this episode, we're covering layers 4 and 5. If you missed the previous episode, I would definitely check it out because you might get a little lost. But grab some snacks and get ready because these are some packed episodes. Timestamps for each episode will be included in the description. I try my best to explore the relevant psychology and philosophy for each episode, but if you feel like I missed something, let me know in the comments below. This opening includes footage from the Lain game and is not related to the series.
I don't need parents. Humans are alone. They're connected to no one. No one at all. No one.
Different religions are forming around the Wired, and we were introduced to Lain's. Lain has been incredibly isolated throughout the show, which is something I think many of us can relate to. Lain stating she doesn't need parents represents a breakdown of the family structure. Another eerie prediction this show created way before its time. Lain is isolated, which makes her similar to a hermit or a mystic. She's trying to perceive an abstract truth that's not shared by her community. Lain is forming her own religion and trying to have a transcendent experience through connecting to the Wired. Lain has dramatically improved her hardware in order to connect to others more easily. However, we see that she's still disconnected and isolated in the real world. Having this transcendent experience is causing Lain to change, and many characters will comment on that throughout the episode. Lain originally was tabula rasa, a blank slate. But Lain is beginning to form an ego based on her experiences in these last episodes.
Dad, what's with Lain? She's really been acting strange lately.
Now, Mika, that's just perfectly normal.
What? Have you even seen her?
Mika, do I have to remind you again about your tone of voice?
As we saw on Yasuo's face previously, he doesn't seem to think it's normal. This is an example of a dismissive, avoidant attachment style to one's parents. Attachment styles describe the bonds between parents and children and how it affects their development. Lain's parents know more than they're letting on. They have a community. Lain simply isn't a part of it. In this episode, we begin to see that the Wired is starting to bleed into the real world. The writers then ask us to consider what might happen if children were just playing games on the internet. What if those games had consequences that children didn't understand?
The game Phantoma uses this dedicated client-server application. It lets you fight in the Wired without any boundaries. I downloaded the app from an illegal server to play it just a little while ago.
This is Phantoma, and it isn't only linked with action-adventure games. We cut to a thriller scene cut similarly to a horror film. We will soon discover that the Knights have broken down the boundaries between the Wired and reality. This is due to their religious beliefs, but there are consequences in reality. A harmless game of tag leads a man to suicide.
No shit!
This is Phantoma.
Oh, God! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! What do you want? What's going on? Damn keys!
What, Alice? They say that a senior committed suicide.
Huh? Suicide?
And not just at our school, Julie. Somebody jumped off of their roof of their apartment building. Lain?
Mysterious events are beginning to occur and the girls are trying to figure it out.
Huh?
Sorry. What is it?
You really don't think Lain would have heard anything about what happened, do you?
The suicide, you mean?
Lain, where did you hear about that? You know?
We see
Well,
Lain
yeah.
hiding something for the
I
first
only
time.
heard about it.
Oh, like where?
We also
On
see
the
some of the
Wired.
personality changes Lain has been going
Right.
through.
You must have gotten the hang of your new navy by now. You'll have to show it to me sometime.
Sure, Alice. But after I modify it.
You're modifying it? I didn't know you were into all that hacking stuff.
You know, I don't know what it is about you, Lain. You've changed.
Really? How so?
Reka's right.
I can't put my finger on it. So, what sort of rumors have you heard lately on the Wired?
Well, that it's some kind of interactive game.
A game? A network game, you mean?
I don't really know. I haven't played it yet. But they've been saying that all the kids who committed suicide were hooked on it.
And guys really do like that kind of stuff too, you know?
A game? Wow, sounds dangerous.
I know, but...
Hey, take it easy. You'll choke on it.
I'm okay. Do you mind if I go home right now?
Hey, you don't need to ask our permission for everything.
You got something to do?
I want to put the finishing touches on my navy. It's still in bits and pieces.
Oh, you prefer a machine to your friends, huh?
Julie, that's enough. Stop badgering her.
I was just asking.
Lain, just let us know when you're done.
I'll see you later.
You know, I think it's true. She has changed. Oh, I'm really
Even though
sorry.
the use of the internet has made Lain
here.
more outgoing, she still prefers the presence of technology over people.
I dropped it.
She's coming out of her shell, but her interests aren't pro-social.
Bye.
The murderer makes an appearance. She's just a normal little girl.
Lain.
Authorized.
She has no idea
Ma'am?
what she's done or the consequences of her actions. To me, this feels similar to the idea of trolling. The children are having fun, but they don't fully realize what they're actually doing. They use
Hello,
the
Lain.
internet as a means of disconnecting with reality.
Couldn't figure out the answer.
They use the
to your question by
anonymity of the
myself.
internet as an
So I asked
excuse
a
to
colleague
treat it
in
like a
lab about it.
game.
If
A
that
game
is
where it's
chip
normalized to tell people
processor
to
that
kill
you were trying to
themselves or that
install,
you're going to rape
then
their
you
parents.
probably should set the oscillation to
Another
variable,
eerie
like
prediction
you
from a
thought.
show made in the 90s.
Navi motherboards are designed to be compatible with just about anything, but you might run into some glitches. Good luck to you. Remember, if you need anything else, just ask.
Lain has almost fully integrated the psyche processor that she received in the last episode, which means that the boundary is getting even thinner.
An adult like you wouldn't be into a
Lain
game
wants
like
to
that.
discover the truth, a major
So,
theme
why
for the
do you
show in
ask?
general.
No. Oh man, are my ears like playing tricks on me already? Oh.
He thought he was talking to Lain of the Wired because he was. Although that is the personality of Lain that we're accustomed to, she was communicating with JJ through the internet. As stated previously, Siberia is the place where the boundary is the weakest. Lain's new psyche processor is allowing her to communicate telepathically through the internet.
This isn't the Wired? Why? What am I doing here?
Wait! Don't run away.
Who are you? Are you a PK2? Please help me!
I can't go where you are.
What's going on? Stop screwing around! Bullet charge lock gate 5! Stop right there!
Lain's abilities are growing. This is the second murder caused by this glitch. We are about to see the first appearance of what some fans refer to as Goddess Lain. Goddess Lain can be identified by the blue aura that surrounds them anytime they're on screen. We see her watching over the situation like some kind of omnipotent being. Honestly, she's quite similar to the viewer, watching over the events in the series without any ability to influence what's going on.
I was scared. I didn't know it was just a young girl. I'm telling you, it wasn't my fault. Look, I didn't even know who she was. She just came out of nowhere.
Lain is going on an internet deep dive to try and figure out what's going on.
Lain has mail.
Open it.
Hey, Lain, it's JJ. I didn't know you were into something like Phantoma. I checked around, but I didn't find out all that much. Anyway, the basic game isn't all that unusual in the Wired nowadays, so my guess is they just modified that. The problem is how the programs connect to each other. It looks like there's some kind of weird hole in the protocol. My buddies and I think that it might be the work of the Knights.
We finally explore the concept of religion in this episode, and in this conversation between Yasuo and Lain, we discover Lain's personal spirituality, or her religion.
Lain, looks like you've gotten very comfortable now, talking to people on the Wired.
Yeah.
Let me give you just one little warning.
Yeah?
I think that my little girl perhaps has become obsessed with the Wired. It's just an advanced medium for communication. Don't ever get it confused with the real world.
Yasuo is expressing the opinions of the author. The internet is just a medium for communication.
Do you understand what I'm warning you about?
You're wrong.
Huh?
The border between the two isn't so clear.
This is Lain's religion, or more specifically, her independent spirituality.
And I will be able to enter it soon. In full range and full motion. I'll be completely metamorphosed.
But even with the top-of-the-line civilian-use Navi, you couldn't possibly...
I can do it. I've upgraded it.
A processor, huh? But Lain...
Don't worry, Daddy. I'm still me, you know.
Sometimes I wonder.
Lain has changed. And she's one half of the spiritual dichotomy represented in this show. Lain represents an independent spiritual journey aiming at truth, whereas the Knights express the communal side of religion. What they both share is that they are seeking transcendence through the Wired.
In other words, the Knights do not physically exist, but are rather thought itself that occurs inside the Wired. They can be thought of as a religion that is spreading through the Wired and into your subconscious.
So the Knights are a religion that is created by a thought that was spread through the Wired and got into people's subconscious.
Lain, why won't you hurry and come here?
The Men in Black have returned, but we don't know much more about them other than that they're keeping an eye on Lain. This scene shows us another one of the benefits of Lain's transformative spiritual journey. The boundary between the internet and the real world, especially for Lain, is getting incredibly thin, in part due to the psyche processor she received from the Knights. Eventually we will learn more about the Men in Black, but for now, just settle knowing that they want to know what Lain is doing.
Just go away. Go away!
Intruder interrupted.
In conclusion, Episode 4 was called Religion. The authors attempt to explain how religions work through the Knights. What the Knights and religions have in common is that they are both groups that are bound together by thoughts that have gotten into people's subconscious. The Knights are united by their goal to destroy the boundary between the internet and reality. which can also be thought about as destroying the boundary between the spiritual world and the physical world. Lain does this through a transformative, independent spiritual journey. The Knights, however, have created a path for Lain. It's important to remember that the Knights are not only responsible for giving Lain the psyche processor, but that they are also responsible for causing the glitch in Phantoma that results in the various murders. Lain has become their prophet. She's a hermit whose spiritual journey they want to emulate. In this scene, we see a recreation of the story of Siddhartha Gautama. He was a privileged child from a noble background, and when he witnessed suffering for the first time, he awoke into his spiritual nature. The Knights are forcing that spiritual transformation in Lain. And the odd prediction the show made is how even though she's transforming into a more social person and connecting with others, she's still disconnected from people in the real world. Episode 5 is called Distortion. I think this is because of how disoriented many of the characters are and how that's a distortion of reality.
If you can hear it, then it's speaking to you. And if you can see it, then it's yours to have.
Mankind is a creature that no longer evolves. Compared to other animals, the incidence of cancer in man is exceedingly small. One theory says that man, a neoteny, is no longer able to evolve. If this is actually true, then what an absurd creature man has ultimately evolved into. Not knowing what it is that drives them or even keeps them alive. They keep their bodies merely to satisfy the desires of the flesh. They're worthless, don't you think? That's all mankind is when it comes down to it.
This is the pitch that God used to convince Chisa to kill herself.
However, you don't have to remain a wretched human being forever. Mankind has finally created an exit, whereby he can cheat mortality and escape.
Huh? What do you mean?
The network. The wired is the way. Lain.
But tell me who you are.
I'm God.
We are finally introduced to Mika. At this point, we know nothing about her. It's reasonable to assume she has nothing to do with Lain. We see how different their lives are. She wakes up with her boyfriend.
Want to get something to eat?
And for the first time, we can see similarities in
hungry?
Mika's and Lain's appearance. However, her hair is longer and she parts it on the opposite side.
Hey, wait. Next time I'll take you to the pool.
For the first time, we see a resemblance between Mika and Lain. In this episode, Mika begins to see the world from Lain's perspective. She's very different from Lain. See how she walks against traffic? That symbolizes that she's an individual. This scene also illustrates how different Mika is from Lain. We see that she doesn't really care about what happened, whereas Lain would kind of trip out on what's going on.
Throughout Tokyo today, the VTC-ZX road traffic information system that monitors the entire metropolitan area sent out information that was incorrect. It appears that the auto-drive programs in cars and trucks interfered with traffic signals, sending them out of control and causing accidents. There was a fatality in the Shibuya area of downtown Tokyo today. But the Information Ministry says the system is up and running, and that such an accident will never happen again.
The Knights are up to trouble yet again. In this scene, we see Lain walk with the flow of traffic, as opposed to Mika. The Knights caused that car accident, and that won't be all they do in this episode. In my opinion, the Knights are upset with Mika. She isn't very supportive of Lain's journey into the digital world. Mika is about to be punished for her transgression against the religion of the Knights.
Excuse me? Huh? What's up? How about a date? What do you say?
Taro is up to something. And this is no accident.
Whoa! Hey!
Uh-oh! Oh, shit! Later! Hey, you! Little weirdo!
It turns out the knights were the ones handing out napkins.
Oh, no. Aw. Oh, well. I guess I'll have to have it dry cleaned. Huh? What in the world is this?
As stated previously, Lain can be thought of as a hermit prophet.
Some kind of bad joke.
The knights have created a prophecy that revolves around this prophet, and Mika is in the way.
I don't know.
Is she crazy?
The knights are connecting Mika to the Wired without her knowledge. We see Lain standing in the middle of a crowded intersection with traffic buzzing right by her. But no one notices this except for Mika. This is because Lain isn't actually there. Her powers are merely expanding in the Wired.
What in the world is her problem?
Hey, Lain! What on earth did you do?
I still can't believe it, Lain. I guess that you really are pretty good. I had no idea you could pull off a complicated hacker stunt like that.
What are you girls talking about?
She's still playing innocent, I guess.
I really don't understand.
You mean to say that you honestly didn't do it, Lain?
Do what?
That wasn't Lain, and she's getting to the bottom of this.
The Information Control Bureau of the Information Ministry began their official investigation this afternoon into yesterday's computer crash in the VTCZX Road Traffic Information System, stating that there was a high probability that it was a deliberate act. At this time, neither the Bureau nor the Information Ministry have any clues as to what.
This is a digital recreation of Lain created by the Knights. Why? To fulfill the prophecy.
Huh? Oh no, there it is again.
Not again.
What, Alice? Spam. Indiscriminate mail. These guys are so persistent.
Fulfill the prophecy. Is that it?
What are we talking about? Is it a declaration of war by some cult? I asked some geeks. I met them on the Wired a while ago. They always have the inside track on this kind of thing. They said it might be the Knights.
The Knights?
Who are the Knights? Well, I think that it's some kind of super hacker group.
Are you sure it is? I always heard that hackers hardly ever work together unless they have to.
That's true. But maybe these Knights are some kind of a loose affiliation and not really a formal group at all. They say that they have a lot of power in the Wired and they do a lot of their work in secret. They're practically impossible to detect. So, they really are a secret society.
Geez, so they're getting their kicks out of messing with other people's email.
I'm not sure, but maybe...
Yeah?
Maybe there's another explanation. Maybe they're not just in it for the fun or for the money.
Huh.
Once again, the Knights reference the prophecy. What the prophecy is less important than what a prophecy is in general. Prophecies resonate into the future. You can think of it like the law of attraction, or as planting the seeds that will eventually become your future. According to Lain, events are an echo that follows a wave of information. What that means is that if you hear about something now, it's possible in the future. The idea that something might happen is what's important. Once someone thinks it might happen and takes steps to ensure that it does, the future is decided. You may have noticed Alice mentioning secret societies and hacker groups. While these hacker groups are obviously a prediction of groups like Anonymous, the cult and secret society references point towards the Knights Templar, which were a secret society of warriors tasked with protecting the Holy Grail. The Knights are digital servants of a New Age god. Their sacred task is to fulfill the prophecy and destroy the boundary between the Wired and the real world. In order to do so, they have pushed Lain to her psychological limits. Mika is finally about to get a taste of what it's like to be Lain, as the knights shift their attention to her.
Lain.
Huh?
Didn't I see you down in Shibuya? Forget it. It's nothing.
Notice how she's at the same intersection that Lain was at earlier. We see Mika living out Lain's experiences, but she hasn't built the same mental fortitude. She's at the restaurant where Alice and her friends were previously.
Thank you. Come again soon. Hey, you know, I don't know. I thought he was pretty cute.
So how are things going with the two of you anyway?
Come on, go ahead. You could tell us.
What prophecy are you talking about? Huh? What's going on? I usually have dinner with my mom and dad about now. Why me? Is someone there? Come on, I know you're in there.
What's the matter?
It's nothing. It's nothing at all.
In this episode, Lain is given 4 speeches. They illustrate a cycle of growth. The childlike doll teaches her about the beginning of things. The mask teaches her about how things grow. Her mother, however, teaches her what things become. And finally, her father explains what is at the end of things. The 2 female figures are about conceptualization, explaining that it is information that drives the truth, while the 2 male figures are about action, explaining that it is possible to manipulate the flow of information so as to assemble whatever truth needs to occur.
Tell me a story. Come on, please. Just one story, okay?
What kind of story would you like to hear, Lain?
Let's see. Hey, how about something I never heard of?
There is nothing in the world that exists that you do not already know. And I cannot tell you a story that does not even exist. You understand, don't you? Well, how about this then? For every event, there is first a prophecy foreshadowing the event. An event first comes into existence when there is a prophecy.
By whom? Who makes these prophecies?
The prophecy will be fulfilled, Lain.
But then, it's no longer a prophecy.
Everything is a prophecy. History is not a random collection of points scattered along a timeline. The individual points are all connected in a continuum. They are all connected along a common line. No, it is more accurate to say that they are made to connect to the line.
By whom? Who's the one who connects all these points?
The wired might actually be thought of as a highly advanced upper layer of the real world. In other words, physical reality is nothing but an illusion, a hologram of the information that flows to us through the wired.
But, Ma...
This is because the body, physical motion, the activity of the human brain is merely a physical phenomenon, simply caused by synapses delivering electrical impulses.
But, Mom,
The physical body exists on a less evolved plane only to verify one's existence in the universe.
Are you really, truly my mother? Are you real? Are you really my dad?
Have you ever considered another possibility? That what flows through the wired isn't merely electrical information.
Huh?
If we can assume that it was the development of a worldwide system of electricity, phones, and computers that caused the eventual formation of the wired, then I have to wonder if another world was created.
Another world?
Here in the real world, God exists only as an imaginary concept. But in the wired, there may actually exist a sort of Deus-like embodiment of an all-powerful being.
Is it really God?
I really don't know whether or not it should actually be called a god, per se. But at the very least, I think it has the same kind of supernatural power that is written of in the old myths and legends.
You know, I think it might have been God that I talked with on several occasions.
The Deus of the wired. may already have harnessed enough power to cross over and affect the real world in some isolated instances. It's true, in the form of a prophecy.
Prophecy?
Thanks for checking out my video. I put a ton of effort into the content I make, so it would mean a lot to me if you would like and subscribe. I want to take this moment to thank my sponsors, because without them, none of this would be possible. Thank you, Raz, Carrie, and Daniel, for all the support you've given me, which helps me create content like this. If you would like to consider donating, I stream almost daily on Twitch. Come check me out and we'll figure it out later. Let me know in the comments if you'd like for me to continue, or if you have another series you'd be interested in me working on. Thanks again, and hopefully I'll be bringing you some great new content soon.